Hey everyone, welcome to our video series, Canal Days, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of the neighborhoods that make up Chicopee, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, here with my co-host, local historian and founder of the Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Comu. As your personal tour guide, Robert will lead you through some of the most iconic sites and the legends of historic significance throughout New England's preeminent and pivotal state of Massachusetts. With his expert insights, every monument and memorial story comes to life. Afterwards, don't forget to check out his website, holyokecanaltour.org, to access the full Canal Days video and podcast series, and also check out his free in-person and public tours he offers throughout Western Mass and the 2025 schedule for these special events. And you can also book personalized private tours for groups of all sizes, tailored to your interests. To discover that and much more, remember to log on to holyokecanaltour.org. So, Robert, can you list the multiple neighborhoods that make up the city of Chicopee?
There's Chicopee Falls, which was made in order to put in the Chicopee Falls Canal in the 1820s. There's Chicopee Center, which was made to put in the Chicopee Center Canal in the 1830s. There's Aldenville, which was made as a trolley neighborhood, and that would have been in the years late 1890s up to 19-teens. There's Fairview, which is all farmland, and there was an attempt to make it a trolley neighborhood, but it did become very important when the Westover Air Force Base was put in there. And then there was Willimantic neighborhood, which is the oldest neighborhood of Chicopee, and in that neighborhood, the backbone is, of course, Chicopee Street, and they did have a trolley at one point, but that was afterwards. It was a very old place, settled sometime in the late 1700s.
And can you summarize some of the historical characteristics and which has the most historical significance?
Okay, the Chicopee Falls, the reason why it exists is that canal made in the 1820s, a very old canal, not there anymore. The reason why Chicopee Center exists is because of that canal. Otherwise, it would not exist. It's still there, and it's along the Chicopee River. Willimantic was very historic. It was along the river because it had to be. You couldn't navigate inland very well. And it still looks historic, even though a lot of the very old buildings are gone, except for one of the Congregationalist Church. And then Fairview is fairly recent. And then Alden, of course, is very recent. It's truly just a trolley neighborhood that evolved from that point. So today we're going to see one of the neighborhoods of these five in Chicopee, Massachusetts, and that is the Chicopee Center neighborhood. We'll pick out This hill here is the start of the Chicopee Center Canal, made in 1832 to be a power canal. The mills that it serves start about a half mile away, and then it ends the canal after about a mile. Now here's the modern day Chicopee Library. It used to be a quarry here, and it was run by Charles McClellan, and that quarry would get enough rock for the canals, for the mills, and for some of the buildings. And he also constructed wooden buildings along the way. Bell Street is a Polish National Church, and it used to be a cathedral, that particular Polish National Church, the Rosary Church. Up this street, in the other direction, you find the St. Stanislaus Church, now a minor basilica. And that is very important. Right, and you can see it's quite gorgeous. And the church has a full campus of a retirement home, a rectory, a convent, a school, and it's still operational as a church and a school. And this is looking up and down Front Street, which serves as a backbone of Chicopee Center. Down in this direction, you're going to find Chicopee City Hall, and you're going to also find locations of a lot of mill worker homes. Once they started getting a little bit wealthier, they started building up these Victorian homes that are on the street. So there's a lot of history around if you know where to look in particular, and if you know how to interpret things. Okay, and I'm going up towards the St. Stanislaus Church, which is quite gorgeous. You can see why they made it into a basilica. Beyond that is Chicopee High School. Then a little beyond that is Chicopee Falls, which also had a canal system for itself. Okay, and the school is on the right, and the church is on the next one on the right. So thank you very much for coming along.